Hello and welcome to the third part. For the third part, we will talk about the four basic structures as political concepts. So we have the organization, institution, system, and the state. If you will notice, all these four gets bigger and bigger. So the organization would be the smallest among all these four, and it becomes more intricate as we get bigger. So there would be more people involved, and there would be more policies involved as well. And of course, the laws and the structures will be a lot more intricate and complicated as we go from organization, institution, system, and the state. So let us start first with the smallest one. We have the organization. The organization is a body of persons working together in a structured way to achieve a specific purpose. Now, you might be already a member of an organization. You belong to a club, for example, or a school organization. You know that, for example, your organization is a biking organization. So your goal, your purpose is to encourage more people or to invite more people to go on a ride with you, and that's already an organization. Now, give it a notch higher, you will have now an institution. An institution is a structure with established important functions to perform, well-specified roles for carrying out those functions, and a clear set of rules governing the relationship between the people who occupy those roles. So here, in the case of institution, it is more formal than the organization, and it was also created longer or generally longer than the organization. And usually also this is this is this involves more people as well. Okay, next we have an institution, for example, would be the government as an institution. Would also have the school as an institution, and then the next one we have the system. A structure whose parts are all interrelated, so a change in one part means a change in all. When we talk about a system, we are talking here of interrelated parts that if you do something, something will happen. Like, for example, the nervous system, your body. If something is wrong with your lungs, for example, you know that something wrong with your lungs will affect the rest of the body as well. So in the case of a system now, say for example, the library of MCL, if something happens to the library of MCL, then the other parts of MCL will also be affected. So that is what we call system. They are so connected to one another that even though in some cases they are independent, but in most part they are interdependent of each other. Okay, so we cannot really totally isolate one part from another. So that is a system. Now, let me just tell you about Easton's model of a political system. According to him, the input would be the demands, and then you would also have the support here. Okay, and then for as long as you have what would be the demands, the wants of the people, and then you would have the support group who would want to make sure that the demands will be met. So for example, you would have the rallyists, you would have the political groups who will be helping the people who are demanding, and then after that, a decision, you have the political system, you can have the government here. Now, a change in one, like for example, a change in the budget of one department means a change in the budget of another department also, because it's a system, they will change. So here you have the political system, and then that political system will make a decision. Once a decision was made, then it will now go back to here with a feedback. But of course, they will also have to consider the environment, which is also another system again. Okay, so that's how it goes according to David Easton. Now, make it a lot bigger, we would finally have the state. The state is a structure that has legal right to make rules that are binding over a given population within a given territory. So you see, if you are called a state, that means that you have the four elements that will make a state a state. So here, what are the four elements? They are found in this definition of the state. A community of persons, more or less numerous, permanently occupying a definite portion of territory, possessing an organized government, to which the great body of the inhabitants render habitual obedience and free or nearly so from external control. What are the four elements now of the state? Meaning to say, all these four are supposed to be present. If one is missing, then you cannot have a state. So we have persons, we have territory, we have government, and then we have the uh, great body of inhabitants rendering habitual control and external control. We call this sovereignty. So the four elements are persons, territory, government, sovereignty. Sovereignty would cover habitual obedience of people and the freedom from external control. So if one of them is missing, then you cannot have a state. The Philippines is a state. Hence, we know that the Philippines has persons. Well, we have us. We have the territory. Yeah, we have the whole Philippines. We have our beach. We have our land area, and then we have the government. So we have the Philippine government, and then our sovereignty, our independence from another state, and therefore the Philippines is a state. So that's it for the discussion on the third part. We will now go to the fourth part. See y'all.